Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Freedom Train podcast series. I am Joseph Ward and joined by my big homie, Mr. Patrick Irvin. What up, Pat?
Big homie. When I become the big homie?
Man, just take it, damn it. Stop trying to be difficult. Just damn it, just roll with it, Pat.
Then fuck your whole vibe up, huh? Okay.
Hey, hey man. Be you. Technical Ted. Be you.
Yeah.
Nigga, how big homie, you older than me, man. Just take the shit, dog.
Hey. I was like, yo, is that a fat joke? I now know I gained a couple COVID pounds or whatever. More than a couple.
We all did. Hey, remember that the Freedom Train podcast series is brought to you by PAX Inc. That's PACTSINC. And PAX Inc. is a Black development organization aimed at developing the Black community to its maximum potential to focus on education and economics with the traits of hard work, honesty, and integrity. For more information, make sure you visit their website at www.pactsinc.com so you can join the Amazon Smile program. Go to Amazon. Well, actually, go to your search bar, type in Amazon Smile, and the whole Amazon Smile part of their website will come up. You register. That's going to allow you to register with a nonprofit organization. You choose PAX Inc., PACTSINC. Bam, you register. So then you go home, do your regular Amazon shop, because what the Amazon Prime program is, all you got to do is just register with the program and shop, and a portion of your proceeds will go to the nonprofit organization that you choose. So once again, Amazon Smile, register, choose PAX Inc. Bam, go to shopping. Portion of your proceeds go to PAX Inc. So you in there. Make sure that when you go to the website, check out all of the information, the tools, what's about the organization, the codes of conduct, how you can become a member, a donor, how you can get involved. And that Learning Center, take advantage of the Learning Center tab. There's a whole bunch of resources in there. www.pactsinc.org, and make sure you also visit our Freedom Train website at www.freedomtrainradio.com. Learn more about me, Joseph Ward, more about Pat, more about Shelby, Candace, Enigma, as well as Cliff, and everybody else that we got working behind the scenes, what's going down, and all our upcoming things that we got going on. So, ain't that right, Pat?
Word. Word.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. That man, you stupid, man. So we got 3 topics on the board today for our viewers and our listeners.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them. So we ain't the one to gossip, but we heard about T.I. and Tiny, what they got going on in their latest sex trafficking allegations. That kind of piqued our interest. You're like, oh shit, what they talking about? So we have been looking into it. So we're going to give our opinions and read a little bit on this T.I. Tiny situation. I know they've spoken out, but we'll get back to that. Also going to talk about the GameStop AMC Robinhood events that happened last week when people had the fear of missing out. And a lot of people went into the stocks that they probably shouldn't have. And a lot of bad things happened. A lot of people lost a lot of money. The Jordan crying face on a whole lot of people, including Michael Jordan, from what I read. So, you know, get into that. Right. And then breaking story today. We just found out about it today, not too long ago. But here in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2 FBI agents killed and 3 wounded, and a suspect dead in Florida when a shootout erupted in a search of a child pornography case. So, got to be goddamn Florida, right? Got to be. Pat, why is your state like this, man?
Hey, man, you live there. Florida been taking L's this year.
Florida been this week. Man, Florida been taking L's since Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, but I'm saying first you got your hometown, y'all being called ugly, and the Kevin Samuels highlight.
We do got. mention that. I'm glad you reminded me of that because I totally forgot. So you know what you were doing with that. You know exactly what you was doing with that because
So
I forgot. And yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, get it
now go
off.
ahead and say what you're saying. So because
Now
we're
I was
gonna,
just gonna say first y'all got called ugly.
yeah,
At Tallahassee 5 and all of that. And then what was it? What was it? Oh yeah, now y'all got child trafficking ring shooting at the FBI.
not in Tallahassee,
Yeah, that was in Florida. But Tallahassee is the capital of Florida, so
right? But you got to remember though, we got 3-4 Floridas. This wasn't in North Florida. This was in South Florida.
well,
You
you
got
got
North
three
Florida,
Floridas.
North Florida, Central Florida, South Florida, and Miami.
Nah, the whole I don't know about that one, Joe.
Miami a bit from South Florida though. Miami's his whole. Miami's its own entity now.
You think
So
so?
yeah, yeah. You've been gone too long.
You might be right. You might be
So
right.
okay, all right. So since you brought this thing up, might as well get it. Might as well talk about it real quick. So I'm driving to work yesterday, and I go to YouTube, and I see this Kevin Samuels video that I've been scrolling past for like the last 4 days. Cause the title and stuff just didn't seem interesting. So I end up watching a video before that one and the autoplay rolled into that video. And as the video is playing, he's talking to the young lady. I hear Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm like, Somebody from Tallahassee called in Kevin Samuels. Man, come on, man. Don't tell me somebody from Tallahassee called in Kevin Samuels. I pick my phone up. I look at the camera and I say, man, what the hell? This is blank and blank. What the hell is she doing wasting this man's time? That's the first thought come to my mind. Like, why is blank to blank calling in wasting this man's time? Because I know you ain't on here talking about you want a high value, man. Because the last time I saw you wasn't nowhere near high value anything. Ever. So why you wasting this man's time on this here Kevin Samuels thing? And so she gets to talking about, well, he asked her what she rates herself. And she said a 6. And at this time, she's still saying she's from Tallahassee. So if you a listener or if you've never been to Tallahassee, as a dude who's unbiased on this, because I don't give a damn what city you're from, Tallahassee, and I've been to the places where some of the most beautiful women in America. Tallahassee has some of the most beautiful women here. Now I'm not gonna go out and be like Tallahassee should be on the same level as like LA or New York or Miami. I ain't gonna say that. But what I will say is Tallahassee has some beautiful women who are from here and who live here. So we got women who come in for the colleges and we got women who are bred from Tallahassee. We got some beautiful women. What would you say, yes or no, Pat? There's beautiful women from and in Tallahassee.
I mean, yeah, you definitely can't say that there aren't beautiful women in Tallahassee, given that there are two major universities there, HBCU and a PWI. It's also the state capital, so legislatures are the city, the state capital, so legislatures there, so that brings in a certain type of person as well. Like Tallahassee has everything it needs to have beautiful, prominent people in Tallahassee. So, I would put it on the only thing I would say those other cities have over Tallahassee is just sheer volume of people.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to break it down, like beautiful person to beautiful person, as far as the ratio goes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tallahassee right up there with all of those other cities.
I'm just saying. So now a little more backstory. I went to elementary, middle, and I think high school with this chick. So I know her. I ain't saying I'm her best friend, but I know you. And she was like, she's a 6. Rachel, look, I'm not Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to get into the rating. But if you go on that man's show saying you a 6, especially according to his scale, nah, baby. No, you're not. No, you're not. I ain't gonna go all the way in and be throwing out numbers like she this, she this, she that, she that. But compared to what Kevin Samuels described as a 6, nah, then he asked her, he was like, so you get into clubs and stuff? You get into VIP? She was like, yeah. Another disclaimer. Anybody, and I mean anybody can get into Tallahassee VIP. You want to know why? So we ain't got no VIP. All right? We don't have no real VIP. I've been to VIP. And then when I came back to Tallahassee, I was like, I love my city, but this ain't no damn VIP. We ain't got no VIP. So what she talking about, getting the club, getting free drinks, and then you got to understand Tallahassee, there's black clubbing and there's white clubbing. You got black hood clubbing and you got black upscale clubbing. As upscale as we can get. You got white, all types of levels of white club. All right. Just because you can get into the club and get in the VIP and get free drinks don't mean you fine. I just want to put that out. But yeah, it was interesting to see somebody that you know on the Kevin Samuels show. And then it's just like, first of all, because I didn't feel like, I like, man, why do women keep calling this dude, asking this dude for advice on the show? Because if he's telling you that he works with people and have a business, go get the real services and work with dude behind the scenes. But I'm just not just her, but all the women who calling in, y'all like the shit that he be saying. Now he wasn't mean or whatever to her, or it didn't go left with her. But just, I think a lot of these women like this shit, man. They like this Kevin Samuels shit. They like him talking to them like that, because if you're really trying to get the man's help and you really think he can help you, you'll book a session. That's just me. What you say?
No, I agree with that. I think the people that call in, it's either staged, which I'm not really putting that out there because I don't believe it is, but it's a possibility. Or these are people looking for, they looking for attention. They want to be seen. They want to be noticed for one thing or another. Either they're hoping to be the person that finally stomps him, or
we see that.
Yeah, they hoping to be the somebody that, maybe they get somebody to hit them up after they appear on his show. I don't know what the motivation truly could be. And I don't really know, because I don't really watch him like that. But I do know that the few times I have seen him, it seems like the people that call into the show have some other angle they're playing. And then it makes sense. Like, if you really do want his help to solve your relationship problems or whatever the case might be, why not go through his business and hire him?
I'm just saying. But it was shocking to see, because she said she was from Dothan, and then but after that, just Tallahassee. And it just like, you seen in the comments, folks like, she is 6 in Tallahassee? And it's like, whatever. I'm not here to rate nobody. Clearly she getting dudes. You might say yes or no. She getting dudes. She get dudes. So you can discuss the caliber of the dudes or whatever. But I'm just like, damn. She just said Tallahassee too many times. And why you ain't say Dothan that many times? Anyway,
man.
No, I know you've been here long enough, but don't say I'm from Dothan and then I live in. Let Dothan take all the credit.
Well, what was crazy was in the comments to that video, and this is where the joke came in. You had people in the comments basically like, she a Tallahassee 5.
And what that mean?
They were saying she's some dudes were saying she was a 2. Some people were saying she was a 3. Some people were saying she was a 1. But she was but basically when you sum all of that up, it was like a Tallahassee 5 is like a 2 or 3
And see,
in the real world.
and see, that's why we got to squash this bullshit. Like, you can rate her whatever you want to rate her. She can rate herself whatever she want to rate herself. But don't come for our motherfucking women. That's what we saying, because we got some beautiful women that can go to your city and shut some of the best women in your city down. We ain't getting into no beauty contest. I'm just saying, don't be coming for our city like we ain't got no beautiful women in Tallahassee. You might not be getting them.
Interesting. Yeah. I thought that part was interesting. Like this was somebody who seemed like they were from Tallahassee, saying she was a Tallahassee 5, and I was like, why would you downplay the women in your city like that?
Because you probably ain't getting none.
Like, and this don't really have nothing to do with the lady that was on the show. It was just like the insinuation that women in Tallahassee are not attractive.
Right. And I'm like, well, where you from, bro? Because, you know. But anywho. We just wanted to get that off our chest. Well, Pat started it because he said something.
I did. That was on me.
I told you he did that on purpose because he know what I was going to say.
Well, I know you had been holding it in. I didn't know you had forgot about it. I knew you were holding it in, so I wanted to give you a chance.
Well, because, and see, the thing is, I don't, like, in the the whole thing is not to, like, attack her. You know, we make fun of it. I'm definitely making fun of the situation. Definitely doing that. I admit that. But it's not to attack her or even try to rate her or whatever. I ain't hitting that. She ain't hitting this. Whatever. But it's for, on one end, hey, dude, don't be coming for our women like that. On the other end, I can't believe she was on the Kevin Samuels show. Just like, damn, somebody I know was on the Kevin Samuels show. So, get your ass off that man's show. All right, so get to these topics, man. Like we said, we're talking about T.I. and Tiny, and they're facing their sex trafficking allegations. The fallout between GameStop, AMC, and Robinhood, as well as 2 FBI agents killed and 3 wounded, and the suspect dead in Florida. So let's start with this T.I. and Tiny thing. So I'm going to read this a little bit for you. It said, earlier this week, a former friend of T.I.'s wife accused him of putting a gun to her head. Sabrina Peterson posted her side of the story on social media, and Tiny came to her husband's defense. Now T.I. and Tiny are being accused of sex trafficking and forcing women to do drugs. After Sabrina shared her story, multiple women reportedly shared their stories about T.I. with her. According to the messages Sabrina shared, a woman claimed Tiny made her pop a Molly and engage in sexual acts. Multiple alleged messages claim Tiny is the ringleader. So these are some of the tweets. I absolutely, undoubtedly believe every goddamn thing being said about T.I. and Tiny, 110%. I'm floored by the bravery of the people speaking about it. I don't know. I would have said, let me get more information before I just came out and said I absolutely, undoubtedly believe it. I don't know. I wasn't there. They said this next tweet says T.I. and Tiny have been drugging underage girls and taking advantage of them. His hymen check couldn't get more creepier, but here the fuck we are. I admit that the hymen check was very creepy when we talked about it. I'm not the person, and I know we're not the people who are just gonna come out and boldly say this person did this. I do think we need to look at all the facts. Not saying they did, not saying they didn't, but do look at all the facts. So the rest of this is just people tweets. So it's a very short mention of it. But you know, when you first heard about this, what was your thoughts, Pat?
I went back to the hymen check, and I was just like, well, T.I. has done some creep shit before. Like, not to say he's a creep, but that, like the whole hymen check, like that was the creep. The thing about that, we talked about that is why the fuck you telling us? Right. That's the part that made it like on some creepy, like it wasn't that you did it. It was the fact that you felt like it was something worth telling the world. Like, that was interesting. Not that the fact that it was done is still like whatever, but different people do different things. but the fact that you told the world. So I went back there, and then I went back to all of the gun charges T.I.'s had brought up against him, um, and I was just like, it seemed weird, but I guess it don't seem far fetched. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna. We're not gonna sit here and say it's far fetched. We definitely cannot say it's far fetched.
right.
But we on at the same time. To be fair, we definitely cannot say it is 100. Like this lady told me, 110% true. Like,
Yeah, no, I would never say it's true
now I know
unless
you're
the
not saying
facts
that. I'm
came
just
out. Yeah,
right,
yeah,
not you, but it's just that's because that's very absolute. That's very absolute. So
yeah,
you better have some evidence behind that shit to say some shit like that.
yeah. Because this is like some serious shit to say that they got a ring where they drugging people and threatening people with violence to engage in sexual activity with them. That and it seemed crazy even to the point of that, like, this is T.I. and Tiny. Like, there's plenty of people out there willing to have sex with them
Yeah.
without force. You know what I'm saying? So
It is, but also on the other side of that, to be fair to that, is understanding from what I understand from a lot of sexual assaults and sexual predators is a lot of times sexual predators don't have no they don't have any problem. This is for context for people, not for Pat, because I know he know. But
right,
just for context for viewers is a lot of sexual predators do not have an issue getting sex because it's
right.
not about getting sex. It's about
Power and control.
search for power, right? The reinforcement of power and control. I am in charge. I can dominate a person. This makes me feel powerful. So it's not about that. So these two people can be exactly in the position that they're in and still be sexual predators. Not saying they are, but it's a possibility
Right,
that could be.
right, right. Like, I'm just listing out the things to me that make it make sense, and the things to me that maybe put another light on it to where it's like, okay, maybe not, like, even to that, like, history. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know nobody has a history of anything until they have a history of it. But it's just the whole thing seemed kind of weird to me. And then listening to Enigma's show, the Enigma Self Hour, he was talking about how he believed there might be a political angle to it because the woman that came out and accused them had some political ties to a figure in Atlanta that doesn't necessarily get on with T.I. like that. So that is another area of interest, and if you're really interested in the full what he said, you definitely going
Go
to check
check
out
out.
that show,
Yeah.
Enigma Self Hours. I believe it
What?
was the last show he did this week.
So where exactly can they find these niggas out?
Oh, on the Freedom Train website, you can find the Enigma Self Hour there. You can also find he has a show. I believe it's up on YouTube. I think I saw it.
Yeah, on
Um,
Enigma September YouTube channel.
yeah, just type in Enigma September, and you'll see the. Well, for me, anyways, when I type in Enigma
Yeah,
September, it shows up.
and y'all follow my dog on Instagram, Enigma Sep.
Yeah,
And y'all check him out on Facebook, Enigma September. So that way you can catch all this content and stuff. But so what was he saying?
he was just saying, that, like I said, there's a political angle to it where there's some political intrigue involving the lady that's accusing T.I. and Tiny of doing this thing, and some of the political alliances they have with other people that might not necessarily agree with the people she has a political alliance with.
Right.
So, and he was making mention of some tweets being deleted that he had screenshots of before they were deleted, so he knows that they're real, they exist, and various other things like that. So you definitely want to check out his show for the details. I know I'm teasing and dripping out information, but I also don't want to misspeak.
Right. We're gonna put the card right here. So the card right here, wherever side screen, the card right here. Check out Nick Sep out.
So, but yeah, so it was. I think I don't think it's never going to be a good look, but it's definitely not a good look now. Even the accusation of it because of everything that T.I.'s been involved in lately. And then like with the Me Too movement, I know it got quiet, but it's not done. It's not over.
It's not. Now, I did see something earlier today that was suggesting that it basically said T.I. must have made some people with power mad for these things to come out. So,
Yeah, that came
so
across my mind as well. Like, who has Ti pissed off? I mean, and we know the list is long, but apparently, he might have pissed off somebody with some major clout. Um,
so
that's another
okay.
angle.
So this may sound bad, but if I had to go off just believability, if we just going off believability, and this is not me saying anybody did anything, I'm not accusing anybody, but believability, it's a for me, and I could be 100% wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm cool with them. But believability, it seemed Tiny a bit more believable than Ti, and I could be wrong. How you feel about it?
You said Tiny is more believable than Ti.
Yeah, she
Um,
just seemed a bit creepy to me.
honestly, I've never really paid Tiny all that much attention, so I don't really have a
And,
vibe that I get off of her.
and let me clear. And when I say creepy, I don't mean I don't. When I say she mean creepy, I don't mean she seems sexual assault creepy. I just mean like she's a little creepy. You
Yeah,
know?
the few times I have seen her, I've thought that she came across as maybe a bit weird, but I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people in Atlanta come off a bit weird to me. So I just kind of chalk that up to Atlanta energy. Here I go doing the same thing to Atlanta that they did to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
But I'm
See,
I'm not calling I'm not calling
hypocrite,
I'm not calling Atlanta people
Hippocrates.
ugly.
Hey, it's some
Yeah, like I know
fine
it's some nice looking people in
boy.
Atlanta. Like
Hey
I'm
boy.
not calling them ugly or nothing.
Hey,
I'm not even saying that.
they
I'm just
live and
saying
hey,
the vibe in Atlanta, every
your
time
head
I've
be like
been,
this.
every time I meet people, every time like the vibe in Atlanta is just to me it's a little bit off. Like it's like 2 cents off key. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bit
Well,
off.
but
Like
I get you. But like I said, not accusing anybody of anything, not saying anybody's guilty. But if out of the two of them, she's the more creepier of the two. Um, in a sense. But then, as I say that, I think about it. Ti Ti to me, Ti isn't creepy. Ti is doing his damnedest to keep his daughters from messing with dudes like him. Cause he know what type of dude he is. He know the type of energy he brings, and he knows the type of dirt that he got on him. So he's hell bent on keeping his daughters from being with dudes like him. So he's even willing to do weird shit like the Hyman thing.
yeah, and we talk a lot about things off air. And obviously on air you color them differently. I'm not gonna sit here and say what conversations Ti is or is not having with his daughter because I don't know. But at the same time, if you own up to your fuckboy behaviors, and people can take that as an insult all they want. I'm not saying he a fuckboy, but if there's a component of him that he don't want his daughter to end up with,
It's got to change.
that you know what I'm saying? Like that is hard or soft, whatever you want to call it, fuckboy shit. Like that's what you call shit that you don't want the women around you to get mixed up in. I don't want you to get mixed up in no fuckboy shit. Good or bad, fuckboy shit. I don't want you mixed up in it. So, like, you gotta own that. And you gotta own that with your children as well and let them know, look, daddy do this, daddy do this, daddy did this, daddy did that. I don't want you to be like one of them women that I
Right.
fucked up.
But you also have to change your
Right. You
current
can't be
behavior.
that dude anymore.
Right. And it's like you have to do more than just hope or try to scare your child into not messing with a low caliber dude. You just can't. You have to give her better examples on a consistent basis and make sure she understands what she's really looking for in the dude. Make sure she's understanding who she really is. Like how much time are you really taking with your daughter to make sure that she sees herself as a whole person. She doesn't need anybody to make her feel good about herself. She loves herself. Her self-esteem is at a good place. Like how how well are you doing that? Because if you're not doing that, everything else don't even matter.
Right.
You can't. It's been proven you can't scare your children into being what you want them to be, because they gonna grow up after a while. Your kids grow up and realize that you full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be in some capacity what you want your children to be. Period. Like you can't, because they're gonna follow what you do more than they follow what you say, and that's just what it is. Now I'm not saying it's 100% whatever, because sometimes what you say does sink in, but you can't be out here in the streets being for the streets as a dude and then raise a girl that's not for the streets. Like your daughter more than likely is gonna be for the streets because that's what type of role model you were.
Yeah,
And you we
yeah.
gotta think about it like that. Everybody say you don't want for a girl being for the streets is a bad thing. But for a
What
dude being for the streets is supposed to
what
be some kind of badge of honor.
Well, that's another thing too. We got to get out of this thing like it's okay for men to hold themselves out. We got to get away from that. That shit is not okay. It
No,
is
it's
not
not.
okay for men to just run miles upon themselves. Be like, well, I'm a dude. That's what dudes do. Look, from somebody who did that shit, I wasted a lot of fucking time. Like, bro, I don't even remember 75% of the girls that I mess with. That shit is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like
So when I sit down and have conversations with my kids about it, I got to look at them and I got to explain to them why I did the shit. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah.
it's like it's not worth it. Like it's not cool. It burns you out. It doesn't give you a badge of honor. Look, it hasn't helped me make $1. Hasn't helped my life improve. Hasn't helped my career. Hasn't helped none of that shit. It was temporary bullshit. So we got to stop. We got to stop excusing men for holding around legs. If we're gonna set the standard that women shouldn't be hoeing, men shouldn't be hoeing either.
Well, and it's just beyond that. It's just not healthy, right? Like it's not like every time you do that, you run the risk of picking something up. Even if you wear a condom, the chances of them breaking are low, but the
But
chance is still there. Um,
yeah,
you crazy people out there poking holes in condoms, people using old condoms, people
it's a lot of shit going wrong.
yeah, like like you running the risk of and not, a baby and like it used to be a baby was the worst of your worries. Nowadays,
But even that mindset, a baby is the worst of my worst. Are you serious? So bringing you cool with just randomly bringing the human life?
right?
That's
Well,
that's a messed up mindset.
but that's the thought process of a lot of these people is it, and the sad part is like nowadays though that a baby is not the least of your concerns. You can pick some shit up that could fuck you up.
That lymphogranuloma venereal.
So,
Look it up.
you just you gotta be you gotta like to me, and I say it all the time. I'm extremely grateful that I was raised the way I was raised in terms of my mom owned up to what she did, but at the same time, it was instilled. Everybody you have sex with, you need to be willing to make a baby with.
But but your mama also changed her behavior,
She did. She did.
and so it, saying that and then modeling it help.
Well, you gotta model it.
Right.
You gotta show them. Like you can't just talk that shit. Like it's one thing to tell your kids you love them every day. It's another thing to show them you love them every day. Like it's some things don't need to be said, and some things even if you say them, they not believed unless it's shown. So it is what it is in that regard. But I try to raise my kids the same way. Look, everybody you have sex with, you need to be willing to be in a relationship with this person.
Right.
Like, period. Like,
Now,
you know?
yeah. Now, with all that being said, we still have to understand that you can be the greatest example and the greatest teacher, and if your child still chooses to be stupid, they're gonna choose to be stupid.
Well, yeah, that's there's personal responsibility and then there's societal responsibility or cultural responsibility. As parents, We try our best to address the societal and the cultural issues. Society does have a large impact on your kids. I don't care what nobody says or what they think. The world matters, and the
It
world
does.
does impact your children. But then on the other end of that, once your kid hits 8, 9, 10 years old and they're able to, and I know that's a young age, especially for us in the black community to accept, but once your kid hit these ages where they're able to consciously make decisions about
They want to
life,
do that
right, like
because you
out of
did it.
your hands,
Because
right,
you did it.
right, like you can beat your kid and threaten your kid to high hell to do their homework at 12 years old. If they done made up their mind they ain't gonna do it, guess what? You got a decision to make. Either you gonna accept that they ain't gonna do it, or you gonna do something stupid because they ain't gonna do it. But the fact of the matter is, they ain't gonna do it because
Yeah.
they done made up their mind, and that's the type of thinking that we got to get into. Thinking that we could force certain things on to certain people or whatever, and that goes into again into you could be the best parent in the world. Your
Yeah.
kid might just make a decision to ignore the fuck out of you.
Yeah. Now let me say this. Got to bring it back to the T.I. Tiny thing. I hope that this isn't true. I hope that they are
Oh,
not doing
absolutely.
this. But if they are, my logic. They need to ass whoop. They need to pay for it. They need to do time and get the therapy that they need to fix this shit. So when they come out, they're not doing this shit no more. But I hope that it's not true. And if it isn't true, everybody who's doing these who are doing the
Oh, they need to be
allegations,
punished.
right? If it isn't true, if it is true, get their ass whooped, do their time, get their therapy. If not, the accusers need to be punished.
Yeah, I think that, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say. This the last thing I'm gonna say on it too. I think as a society, we do need to get to a place to where we are publicly punishing people that make false accusations. I'm not
And
saying public as in we put them on blast, but a lot of the times, when something comes out to be untrue, people just move on. And even if there is a libel suit or something on the back end, it doesn't get a lot of news attention. Like people don't know that something else happened. That needs to be changed. These people making false accusations needs to be just as serious as the crime that you're accusing the person of. So
right,
if you accuse somebody of being a pedophile and it comes out that you were knowingly lying, keyword there, knowingly lying, you should get punishment the equivalent to what that person would have got if they were a pedophile. Like it needs to be
straight up,
that serious.
straight up. Like you can't just because you can't just be doing shit out there like that. And also, like we said, like we mentioned earlier, if it's some like higher ups that's trying to come after him because they don't like this and this and that, that's some fuck shit too. And that's when the people, because that's when the people come to the defense of like T.I. and Tiny and them, and then us also realizing that the people, we truly have the power. We just got to believe it. We have the power. Like just like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, we've had the power the whole time. We just got to realize it. So before we move on to the next topic, I meant this shit just popped in my head, and I meant to tell you about it earlier. See if you want to add it to the list. But you heard about Bill Gates now supposed to be spraying the dust into the sky to block out the sun.
No, I ain't heard about that.
I gotta send that shit to you. But I read parts of the article. I skimmed through of Bill Gates and his team trying to do some shit and block out the sun. Bill Gates
Why
shit.
would they be trying to do that?
It's fucking Bill Gates. Let me look for this shit. But Bill Gates needs to sit your ass down.
Yeah, that'll be something I would have to look into and digest because that sounds like something like I would need like what's the purpose of blocking out this? It ain't like Bill Gates.
So it said, let me just real quick. It says Microsoft billionaire founder Bill Gates is financially backing the development of sun dimming technology that will potentially reflect sunlight out of Earth's atmosphere, triggering a global cooling effect.
Yeah, that's to fight global warming. That's one. So I haven't heard of him particularly doing that, but I have been reading and following the technology for a
So
while.
that's the best thing they could think of is we're gonna block out the
No,
sun.
there's a bunch of different what would be considered at this point extreme ideas for preventing global warming or climate change, as we call it now. Um, and that's one of the ideas is to create something that reflects sunlight back into the atmosphere to make less sunlight hit the earth. There's an idea for a giant shade of some sort, a planetary shade that would cover the either cover the planet, or they will put it out into space to catch a lot of the sunlight. And then there are ideas to take that sunlight that's caught by the shade and use it for solar energy here on Earth. There are a lot of like ideas about large scale planetary technologies that would prevent climate change, because clearly humans aren't going to change our behaviors. Um, so
Yeah, we that's been clearly hammered home with this coronavirus.
right, and that's see, alley oop, slam it down. Yeah. So I don't. I would have to look more into what specific technology they're talking about. But I mean, I don't know. I don't.
That's
I would have to read the article and shit.
that's saying let me saying the stratosphere control petro perturbation experiment SCOPEX launched by Harvard University scientists aims to examine the solution by spraying non-toxic calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere, a sun-reflecting aerosol that may offset the effects of global warming. We'll keep an eye out. We're gonna keep an eye out. We're gonna keep an eye out. But let's transition though to this GameStop AMC Robinhood fallout that happened last week. So you want to kind of give the synopsis of it before we go in?
Yeah. So last week, well, we're just going all the way back to the beginning. There's a Reddit board where less wealthy, less rich, well-off people congregate and talk about
Millionaires.
trading stocks.
Right.
You know, we're looking at 100,000aires and stuff like
Okay.
that. Maybe a couple thousandaires in the group, but it's mostly people with money to burn.
Right.
So, anyways, they talk about trading stocks, and there are always, you know, whenever you have a collection of 100,000aires, millionaires, and whatnot, you're gonna have a collection of 100aires in there. So let me say that before people be like, I'm a member of the group and I'm not a blah blah blah. Yeah, we know you always gonna have 100aires and thousandaires congregating around.
Shout out to the thousandaires.
Yeah, they always gonna be there circling around.
Hey,
the people
I'm finna be a millionaire soon, so look out, millionaires.
But yeah, so they talk about various investment strategies, and the board is from what I've seen largely a contrarian strategy type board. Now there are all kinds of strategies being promoted on the board, but we're focusing in right now on the contrarian strategy, because that's what created the AMC thing. So without getting too deep into it and going right into where the points meet, because the buying of GME stock, GameStop,
GME is GameStop.
GME, the buying of those stocks started actually a while back, but recently, a couple months ago, maybe, the idea of using that stock to make a particular hedge fund manager pay.
Yes.
Merged with a movement that was already going to buy these stocks up. So from there, this particular investor was shorting the stock, like most investors were doing. And for those of you that don't know, I think we talked about it, but shorting the stock. Go ahead.
No, finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So shorting a stock is when you borrow stock from somebody at one price for a certain amount of time. And anytime from the time you borrow to the time runs out, you can close out, and you close out at whatever price the stock is at when you borrowed the stock. So if it closes out higher than you borrowed the stock for, you got to pay more because you got to pay the price that you borrowed the stock for plus the additional price. If it comes out lower than the price that you borrowed the stock for, then you get paid. So they call it shorting because essentially you're betting that the stock price is going to go down. And it's
Right.
a very risky trade strategy. It's a risky maneuver, but it is a strategy where if you know what you're doing,
You can
you
make a
can
lot of
make
money.
money. You can make a lot of money off of declines in the stock market.
So
So go ahead.
so let me say this as a person who was actually trading the GameStop stocks. And actually AMC was on my watch list. So like he's talking about with the shorting, you're making money as the stock falls. GameStop, when I was trading it, it was trading at $10 and under. So it would have its days where it would move up, and then it had its days where it would go down, and it had its days where it was up and down in the same day. So for these top investors to be shorting the GameStop stock, it made sense. Shit,
Yeah.
I was shorting it. If the platform would let me, I would short it because it would have its little mini run ups, and then bam, you catch it on the way down. So what Pat is saying, you got these Reddit board folks, these 100,000aires who was like, hey, these rich people are shorting this stock. We finna bust their ass. We finna get them. We finna take it to the system. I feel like they watched The Big Short and was like, this shit ain't happening. That's what I feel like that happened. So they was like, we're going to run the stock. If we run the stock up, we can cause these very wealthy people to lose money. And they did. So they ran the stock up for these very wealthy people to lose money. Now, in turn, they made money. So the very thing that they were mad at the wealthy people for doing, they did because they did it to the average people. If you really think about it, because they ran the stock up. They ran the stock up. I think it went up. They said it went up 150%. And it was a stock that had been trading under $10 for the longest. And they ran the stock up. So the stock was heavily overvalued. You got people buying in, and people never following this strategy. Buy low, sell high. If you wasn't already in it, or you don't really know what you're doing in this, because it's the time to get in to get out. And if you don't have that, you are the people who lost money. There's some people who are still in the stocks right now.
Yeah, and see, I think that them, so they initiated the squeeze. And the squeeze is essentially what Joe said, which is that you drive the stock price up through technical mechanisms in the market. Mm-hmm. Not through any change in business practices or anything that actually adds value to the product.
Right.
You just maneuver market mechanisms to create an artificial rise in price.
Right.
And you do that to force the shorters out of their position because they're losing money now. So that's why they call it a short squeeze. You're squeezing the short people, the short sellers out of their position. Mm-hmm. I honestly, and that is in and of itself a contrarian market strategy for playing the stock market. And so I see it as, yes, some of them wanted to make a particular billionaire hurt, but others of them have a contrarian model for interacting with the stock market to begin with. And it fit with the way that they participate in the stock market. And they saw it as a way to make money. Now, I don't think any of them thought they would make as much money as they made. Because what happens, when they drove the price up, it started to look appealing. And retail traders and everybody else started getting in because everybody wants to ride the wave, right? Fear of losing out, right?
Yeah.
So the price goes up. Everybody's buying in, everybody's moving, everybody's excited. And now you get to the point of Robinhood where people are attacking Robinhood because it's one of the most popular retail brokers, one of the most popular places where people can go to make trades. But it wasn't just Robinhood. Like,
and can I'm sorry, not
go ahead.
just. I want to say this. Look, think about Robinhood when it comes to trading as the equivalent to like McDonald's or even Apple. It's not the greatest product on the market. It's not even the greatest in this category, but the marketing is so tight. It's number one in the category because of the marketing and because of the number of users and the number of people who have it. But when it comes to actual quality of the product, it's not the greatest. So think about Robinhood like that. Go.
Right.
You want to put that in.
Yeah, it's not the best product, and there are a number of us that stopped using Robinhood a while back because their product is not
right
the best. Like, it's not that great, but it is effective with marketing, and it's sufficient enough for most people. You can do what you want to do on there. But anyways, they stopped allowing people to buy GME stock for a period of time. And it, like I said, it wasn't just them. It was a lot of them. I saw a lot of people talking about join us on Webull. You can still buy stock. No, Webull blocked as well. I believe TD stopped. And I believe like there were a number of places that stopped allowing you to buy GME stock. And so everybody saw this as like these companies, in particular Robinhood, are siding with Wall Street. They're protecting Wall Street. They're blah 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 Wall Street. You know, and they're against the average consumer. They're against this. They're against that. And they turned it into this whole Robinhood is a Wall Street lackey, and we shouldn't trust them. They need to go out of business. They need to be investigated. They need to be shut down. And the interesting part for me was that it was all centered on Robinhood, not on any of these other players that literally did the exact same thing.
I mean, like I was just saying, I know these guys are coming out looking like heroes, but you got Robin. They did a reverse Robin Hood on the people, and the Robin Hood app, from like we was talking the other day, seemed like the Robin Hood app was trying to prevent people from getting into that. But it's like they did a reverse Robin Hood. They robbed from the poor and gave to the people who got more money, because people had no business jumping into that. If you were not an expert, if you're not a master investor, you had no business jumping into that. But even if you're a master investor, there's a trading plan and a trading strategy. And if anything that's happening in the market does not fit in your plan and strategy, you don't mess with that.
Right. So, and here's the thing, right? GameStop in particular closed at $90 today. $90 a share, which is down $135 from where
it's too expensive. It's overvalued. Go inside your local GameStop. Tell me when the last time you seen 10 people in there one time.
That's the thing I'm getting at. Like people were jumping into this stock not understanding what was happening. I've said it before. I'm not mad at Robinhood or any of these brokerage firms for doing what they did. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not mad at them for stopping people from buying. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, why would they still allow people to sell? I was like, that's actually a good thing. It allows people to get out with the position they had.
Yes, and make money.
So I'm not mad because short squeezes are temporary rises in the stock price. There's nothing going on here that's going to say that this stock should permanently be higher than it is. Like there's nothing in the stock price there's nothing in the business mechanics that suggests that this stock price should be where it is. So it's going to fall. Anybody getting in at the point that it's overvalued is losing money. And the true value in GameStop right now is less than $10 a share. Like, so.
Right.
So you're asking for trouble by trying to jump in and make money.
Get out of the fear of missing out. Trading stocks and investing is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not. You can make money, but you can lose more money than you make in the market by doing this gambling shit and not sticking to your plan and not having it planned and not being sound and disciplined. Stop being emotional. Take it. Look, man, I ain't trying to act like I'm the greatest stock person, but for my time in trading these stocks and for what I've learned, you got to take your emotions out of this, and you got to be logical with this. Do the numbers add up? Does it make sense? Is it a good trade for you and your plan? What is your plan? What is your strategy? Why are you trading? What's your risk management? If you can't answer those questions, you don't need to be trading. You don't need to be investing, none of that stuff. You really have to do your research. That's called technical analysis and fundamental analysis. People, if you're only doing one, you shorten yourself. So with something like this, and somebody comes to you and say, hey man, I think you should get in this GameStop, or I think you should get in this AMC. Go look at the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are the actual numbers showing you how the business did. And then you go look at the technicals, which are the charts, will illustrate how all of this happened on the charts. So you look at your fundamentals, you look at your technicals, and then you like, well, I see what you're saying, and I see this stock moving, but when I look at the fundamentals and I look at the technicals, it doesn't add up. It's too volatile, right?
Right.
It's too spotty. It was trading under $10 for the longest, and then it just shoot up. Nobody learned from Kodak in 2020. Nobody learned from the Kodak fallout. This is almost the same thing what happened with Kodak.
But this is what I was getting at, what I've been getting at. Because people were saying it's not right for them to halt the stocks and this isn't like blah blah blah. And I was like, no, these stocks were volatile. And SEC trade commissions and all of that rules stipulate that trading in a volatile stock can be halted because of the volatility. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. The same day, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. The same day that they halted trading on GME, they halted trading on like 10 or 15 other stocks for the exact same reason of volatility. Like this happens regularly. The only difference now is that the average person got wind of it and started trying to participate in it. And all the more reason why I think is a good thing that trading was stopped. Because people are being emotional. Stop playing the stock market with emotions is the fastest way to lose your money. I've been trading in the stock market for 10 years, roughly. A little more, I think. But anyways, I've been trading in the stock market for actually it's been more than 10 years now.
Right.
90% of the time that I lost money making an emotional decision.
Me too.
And so you learn quickly to divorce yourself. I saw GME when it first started going up, but I didn't get in. And I don't feel bad about not getting in because it's not a part of my trading strategy. It's not a part of my trading plan. I don't like bubbles. I hate artificial rises in stock prices. I hate people that manipulate the market en masse in that manner. So I'm not going to support it. I don't jump into stuff like that. It's not a part. And there's been plenty of opportunities I've seen where I could have made buku bucks. But that's not the way I invest. Those will all be emotional decisions. And 9 times out of 10, I would be like a lot of those people who jumped into GME this morning and now then lost.
This morning?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Because people are still out there saying, go ahead and get in. And then there are other people saying, hold. That one of the guys that started this whole thing on the Reddit board, reports came out today that he's still holding because for him it's a moral thing because money ain't an issue for him. But he's lost $13 million now. like now the money is not in there anymore. The Wall Street has adjusted. People want to talk about they're teaching Wall Street a lesson.
No, you're
All of
not.
the all of the indexes have shot up,
Yeah.
and I say that's silly anyways because Wall Street was not heavily invested in GME and AMC to begin with. Those are dinosaur corporations.
Look, okay, and let's hit on that for a minute, just real quick. So drive this home. GameStop, AMC. Like I said earlier, when the last time you seen 10 people in the GameStop at one? GameStop and AMC are behind the curve because for GameStop, games are going digital. Like I don't have to go to the game. I don't have to go to the store to get games now. I can get it digital. And guess what? I don't have to wait in lines. I don't have to wait on sellouts, none of that stuff. And I get it from the comfort of my home. I can download the game straight to my console. Bam. GameStop is out of the play. HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix are killing AMC. They was killing AMC before the pandemic. Now that HBO Max is basically the place where new movies are coming out. No movies, think about it. You've been seeing the new movies are coming out on HBO Max and Amazon Prime, not at AMC. AMC dropped the ball. AMC should have been the place where new movies come out. AMC and GameStop both gonna be the next Toys R Us. And that's the company you want to invest in? You crazy.
So, but then there's this whole movement that this was some sort of movement for the people and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yo, I strongly disagree with this being any. You're looking at pictures of people spending $1 million on GME stock. If you got $1 million to spend on GME stock, you're not one of the regular people.
Right. Like you just said, this dude lost $13 million. If this dude lost $13 million and still in the position, if he's still there after losing $13 million, he's not one of us. He's not one of us. He's not one of y'all or them or they or we. And he's not none of that. He's a part of the system that he calls himself going up against. Now he's going up against folk who got skimming more money than him that's in the system, but he's still a part of the damn system. And the regular folk, we don't have the money to be losing like that. We got to be smarter than that. You can't just be jumping in things because.
Right, and that's not to say that some of these people aren't going to do good things with their money. We've seen where somebody that came up with a lot of money sent a bunch of Nintendo Switches to a children's hospital. Cool. Like, it's not to say that people aren't going to do good things with their money, but what I'm saying at least, is this was not some sort of social change or some sort of stick it to the man move. No, this was contrarians following out with a contrarian policy outlook on interacting with the stock market, coming up big, and the rest of the world looking and paying attention. This isn't the first time it's happened. It won't be the last time it's happened. But these people are playing the stock market to make money. Like, they're not playing the stock market to crumble Wall Street. If they were trying to destroy Wall Street, they would not start with AMC and GME. They wouldn't start with dinosaur corporations that have no real long-term outlook.
Look. Once again, that's why the fundamentals and the technicals are important. Study the fundamentals, study the numbers that the companies have on their website. You go to their website, and if you got your apps on your phone, you can track your stops in your watch list and stuff, and they'll give you all the stats on the companies. So you put them on your watch list. That way you can get the chart information and you can get the fundamental information. If you're not doing that, you're bullshitting yourself. Don't just be jumping into stocks like that. Like, if you're going to just, like, you put your money in stocks that you know doing good. You don't put your money in stocks and try to, because, like, by the time the stock runs up, by the time the stock is on the move, you're too late.
Yeah, you're late. You
should have caught it when it was under 10. You should have caught it when it was under $10.
Yeah, like, even if you caught it under 30 or 40, but if the stock is already over 100 and you ain't nothing changed about the business practices, You
Look,
late, bruh. Like, why
look.
would you risk it?
If you buy a $10 stock at $30, you still tripping. Even though you may have a chance to make a little bit, you still buying the $10 stock
Oh
at
yeah,
30.
yeah, yeah. You still wrong. You still 100% wrong. I'm just hindsight being what it is. Those people that got in got lucky, and let's just call it what it is. They
A lot
got
of people got
lucky.
lucky.
They got lucky.
Right. It were few people who got in who actually knew what they was doing to make money.
Yeah,
That wasn't the
there,
majority of the people.
there ain't no like skill. Long term pays the bills. Understanding, analysis, skill, and having a real feel. Luck is not gonna do it. So if you jump, even if you jumped in, like there were people jumping in Tuesday and Wednesday and whatnot. Some of them when the stock was at like $200 and $300 a share. Some of them might have got lucky and made a couple dollars, but it was still a stupid decision, even if you got lucky. So, but you still like I was scrolling through my timeline earlier, and you're still seeing people talking about, keep holding. Why?
No, don't. Get out of that. Get out of it. Get out
Like,
because it's not doing good. It's going down.
yeah, chalk up your losses, especially if you bought at $300-400 a share. You
You
might as well
stupid.
eat that L now.
You crazy. You a $10 stock at man. Look,
But the other thing too is, Jodo, is I was telling people you think about how interesting how quickly Wall Street adapts. So those people got out of a lot of the shorts got out of their position Monday, Tuesday last week. Well before people on social media Wednesday and Thursday started screaming about, get in whole. We teaching the man a lesson. Like they were already out. The shorters were already out. They had chalked
yeah,
up their
you're not
losses.
teaching nobody no lesson now
They
because
got out.
because
So
they realized that when they knowing them, they probably had stop losses in, and
yeah,
when they stop losses was triggered, they done. They might
yeah,
have because if they smart investors, they got their stop losses in at a reasonable place where they only take minimal loss.
yeah. So they got out. Some of them took big hits, but they all got out, and they're all still intact. And then so you look at it on the other end, though. Everybody knows this is a short squeeze.
Right.
Everybody knows that it's going to go down again. What's to stop these people? And I'm not saying they could or they couldn't. I'm not an expert on shorting, so I could literally be off on this. But what's to stop these people from shorting the stock now?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was one of them, if I was a shorter, when that bid got to like 300, 400 or whatever, oh yeah, I'm shorting that.
Yeah, look, that's when I was looking at some of the information earlier today. All I was thinking is, well, if you know what you're doing shorting, this is the time to get in and ride that bitch on down.
Oh yeah.
Like this is the time to get in, but not get in to go on the upside. This is not bullish. This is bearish, and ride that bitch down
Mm-hmm.
if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Like and that's one of the things, like if I had a broker, if I had a broker that would allow that would front me for shorts like that, to the level that I would want to do it at, I would seriously consider it. I'm not saying I would do it because shorting ain't really a part of my trade strategy, but it's something I would be considering like a motherfucker, because you know
Right.
that this shit is gonna keep collapsing. Even at $90 a share right now, it's still gonna keep going down.
Because what was the high of
The
the stock?
high I believe was at like it's like 400 and something.
Man, imagine getting in at 4 something, understanding what's going on, and riding that bitch on down to $90. Because you could literally swing trade this on the short.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So it looked like the high was 357,
So
347.
if you know what you're doing, you can swing trade that on the short and make money.
Yeah, it's wild out here, man. It's really wild, especially when you consider December 1st, 2020, it was trading at $15.80.
I was trading it when it was under $10. That's all I'm gonna keep saying. It was literally on my watch list. I took it off my watch list when I went to my watch list. Now it was like a couple weeks ago, and I saw it was at $18. I took it off my watch list because it's above my risk management level.
Yeah.
But hey,
So, but yeah, people. I mean, if you're serious about trading and investing, get serious about it. Because what this is gonna do long term though is turn a lot of people off
yeah,
to trading and investing
right.
because a lot of people finna lose money. A lot
What
of people
what
have lost money.
Well, see, the thing is, you have to educate yourself. Stop trying to just like finesse this. So, for me personally, I'm kind of proud of myself for the shit that was coming out of my mouth. Because I keep reminding myself I know more about this shit than I act like I know or I tell myself I know,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm constantly learning. So, um, just tips of shit to watch. Read books. Get as many books on reading stocks and the history of stocks as possible. Get as many books. I know for me personally, I watch Earn Your Leisure, Market Mondays, with Rashad, Troy, and Ian. I watch that. I watch the Come Up series. I watch Wall Street Trapper. I watch Oliver Velez on YouTube. Terry Ijeoma. I watch her. Dave Ramsey. Uh, and you know, a lot of people who talking about you giving information on money management, but when it comes to specific stocks and stuff, I'm a start with read the books. But if you want to watch some things, get some learning from people. Those are people to learn from and others. But don't just walk up in it as trying to be a novice, man. Learn the game. Like Ian Dunlap on
Mm-hmm.
Earn Your Leisure, he always says before you actively trade, get 300 trades up under your system. Because it's like, and I like the sports analogies they use. It's like Steph Curry didn't become a great 3-point shooter overnight. He had to work. Steph Curry probably somewhere right now, if they ain't got no game, shooting up jump shots. So you got to practice. Get your practice in. Learn the game before you get in it. Because if not, you're going to always lose money. So
Well, they're making. I think they got 2 movies in production about this shit. So
already,
yeah, people
this
move
shit just
fast
happened.
nowadays. People move fast. I remember like last week they were talking about somebody was. I read an article about a deal being struck with some movie studio to produce a movie about it, and I read earlier tonight that there are actually 2 movies in the works about it. Yeah.
They ain't even got the book. At least the Big Short had the book first, which I have. Which I do have. Talking about reading, I do have that book. I got How to Read Stock Charts. I got Money Master the Game. Those 3 books I would recommend. So all right. Well, let's move on to our final topic, because we didn't beat that dead horse alone. We didn't let y'all have it enough. So, good old Florida. Charlemagne the God said the craziest people in the United States come from the Bronx and all of Florida. Not necessarily all of Florida. More like Central, South Florida, but not all of Florida. Okay, so yes, I just threw Central and South Florida under the bus. Yes, I did. So 2 FBI agents are killed, 3 wounded, and the suspect dead in Florida. So let me read a little bit about this, because, like I say, Pat and I both just found out about this a little while ago. So 2 FBI agents were killed and 3 wounded in a shooting that erupted on Tuesday when they arrived to search an apartment in a child pornography case, a confrontation that marked one of the bloodiest days in FBI history. The suspect is believed to have killed himself. The violence forced residents in the Fort Lauderdale suburb of Sunrise to huddle inside their homes as a SWAT team stormed the apartment building and police helicopters circled overhead. FBI Director Christopher A. Wray identified the 2 slain agents as Daniel Aflin and Laura Schwarzenberger, both of whom specialize in investigating crimes against children. 2 of the wounded agents were taken to hospitals to be treated and were in stable condition, said Miami FBI agent Michael D. Leveroff. The 3rd did not require hospitalization, Ray said. The suspect opened fire on the agents when they arrived to serve a federal search warrant. George Pirro, who led the FBI's Miami field office, said at a news conference, "Today is a grim reality Today, this grim reality has taken two of our best from our family, Pirro said. They were valuable members of the FBI and will forever be heroes. We will always honor their ultimate sacrifice. President Joe Biden offered his condolences during an immigration event at the White House. Pirro said the suspect would not be identified until his family has been notified. Oh, he ain't black. He ain't black. Based on the preliminary investigation, federal officials believe he fatally shot himself, according to a law enforcement official familiar with the matter. The person cautioned that an official cause of death has not been determined and spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation publicly. That's how you know he ain't black. The shooting happened around 6 a.m. in a middle-class neighborhood of single-family homes, duplexes, and apartment buildings located west of Fort Lauderdale near the Everglades. I know it's a whole bunch of mosquitoes over there. The gunfire erupted with about 4 shots. Boom, 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 said Julius McClellan, whose house borders the Water Terrace apartment complex where the suspect was barricaded. At first, McClellan thought the gunfire was a car backfire, and then 2 minutes later he heard about 5 more shots. He went outside and looked over his fence as police cars and ambulances rushed in. That's how you know they white. Then he saw officers working on someone lying on the ground before they loaded the person into the ambulance. The SWAT team appeared next with officers donning riot gear. Then they went around the building yelling, "Go, go, go," McClellan said. He said he couldn't see the apartment where the shooting happened from his location. Hours later, Sunrise police urged residents of Water Terrace to remain inside their homes while law enforcement blocked the entrances of their community. It's a whole long ass more article. I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but yeah. So they went to go bust some folk about child pornography stuff, and the person just opened fire on them. Wow, way to make it worse.
Yeah, you killed 2 of them and injured 3 more.
Right, and you killed yourself. You're dead. You killed yourself. They're suspecting you killed yourself.
I bet he did kill himself after he killed them officers.
Right, because he'd already know what it was. I mean, well, if he white, they wasn't gonna kill him. We don't believe.
Yeah, but you know how it be. You know, like once you kill a cop, you didn't kill yourself whether you actually did it or not.
Yeah. I mean, he might get points in the joint if he go up north. He might get some points, but
it's gonna be a rough ride.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the officers, yeah, but that's wild. That shit is wild. It's not helping Florida.
Yeah, well, Florida got to take some L's, but I also think it speaks to the level of disrespect that people have towards law enforcement. Like, people just, increasingly, people are like, fuck the law. All people, not even just black people no more. Like, even white people are like, yo, fuck.
Well, we know why. We know why people are saying that. Like, I was looking at a broadcast earlier before we got on this, and our mayor was saying that the residents in the communities that the police patrol, especially the ones that they heavily patrol, that they should start initiating meetings with the police, or not meeting, but like, hey, I'm such and such, like introducing themselves. They should start inviting police officers to their houses for cookouts and just getting to know the police. And it's like,
that the mayor that's not the mayor of Tallahassee, right?
Yeah, it's the mayor of Tallahassee. So my question is, well, if the issue, because the police is the real issue. So if the police is the real issue, it's historically been the police is the issue. Why do the citizens need to initiate the interactions and the healing instead of the police? That's you once again telling, hey, I know you're getting your ass whooped, but I need you to be the bully's friend. It's like, well, when do the bullies stop doing the bully stuff? Like, it's the onus is on the police officers to build this trust, to build trust, period, with the black community, especially. The onus is on the police. We didn't break the trust; they did.
I don't understand. I keep forgetting that because I grew up on the black side of Tallahassee.
Me too.
And I keep forgetting that Tallahassee is like predominantly white,
Yeah,
like a
Tallahassee
lot
is
white, like over.
Tallahassee was rated the most segregated city in America at once. Remember that?
Yeah, I think it's like 70% white.
Yeah. Tallahassee is very black and white.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
It's
saying.
mostly
Like
white.
it's amazing because Tallahassee at 70% white, you still have black people like myself who grew up in Tallahassee thinking that the majority of Tallahassee was black.
That's because the side of town we on. Like if you're on the south, well, if you're on the south side of town or in poor neighborhoods, you're gonna mostly see black people. Even there, like what in Tallahassee, the majority of poor white people live together, and the majority of poor black people live
Right,
together,
right.
and
It's
white people live in
segregated.
trailer parks.
It's segregated like totally.
Right, right.
Like even down to poverty. Like you do have and you do have some areas like I'm thinking about the Meadows when I was living there, which was a trailer park that had
But that's
black
the
and
black
white
people.
people in it. But
But it's
it was
more so a
mostly
black people trailer park.
yeah, it was mostly a black people trailer park. But you did have a couple of sprinkles of white people in it.
Right.
But it's just interesting that that city, which is so heavily white, you know, I still talk to adults now that live in Tallahassee that say that Tallahassee is more black than white because everywhere they go, they don't see none but
Nah.
black people, and it's
No,
like,
but and that's not true. But that's also people doing their assessments based off of their observations,
yeah, yeah. But
and
that
it's like we
go
could
ahead.
there are days where I can rarely see white people. There are days, but I know all I have to do is go to a specific place or a specific event or a specific side of town, not to be the only black person in there.
I think that speaks to how institutional the racism is and how much is built into the infrastructure of the city that on all levels black people and white people don't really interact like that in Tallahassee.
No, they don't.
And and so it's crazy because what the reason I brought it up is cuz I was getting ready to say why in the fuck do y'all keep voting in these crazy motherfuckers for positions in Tallahassee? But I had to remind myself about the stats. Tallahassee is conservative and is white.
Well, okay. Well, Tallahassee is a conservative city that votes blue.
Yeah, but y'all
Because it is
conservative.
conservative. It is conservative.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about the culture of the city, not necessarily the political.
Well, I'm talking about the politics and the culture.
Oh, okay, I get you.
But the culture of the city is conservative. But
Cause
most of the time, and the reason why I say that because most of the time when people say conservative, they think red. But I want to be clear that
no,
Tallahassee
yeah,
comes out
yeah,
blue.
yeah,
But it
no.
is conservative. It's the typical southern city.
Well, I think that's where you gotta understand that there are differences. And like the Democratic Party is an interesting party because you do have everything from hardcore progressives and liberals to true blue conservatives in that party. Like black people are conservatives. The only reason we don't vote Republican is because Republicans are racist. Openly racist.
Right, oh, right.
Openly racist. But we are conservative. And there are a lot of people in the Democratic Party that are conservative. They just don't participate in the Republican Party because the Republican Party does something that they find reprehensible. Like not able to overlook it at all. And so you do have these pockets in the country and in the political spectrum where they vote blue, but they're conservative.
Yeah.
And
Here.
Tallahassee is one of those places. But like I said, the only reason I bring it up is because I was just like getting ready to ask, how do y'all keep voting in these clueless people?
But,
And I had to remind myself we talking about Tallahassee.
but yeah, because I will say this: Daly isn't clueless. He's not clueless. He was saying what he was supposed to say.
I think Daly. I'm not saying he's clueless from the sense of he don't know no better. Although I do think when it comes to like
He was damn sure
black,
better than that Dusty Daniels white boy who I told people that he don't give a shit about us. He just showed up to get voted. Haven't seen him or heard from him since he lost the election.
yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying he don't know no better. I read up a little bit on Daly in terms of like supporting the LGBT movement and all of that other stuff. My thing was just to say something like that. That's a clueless statement.
It it's a clueless statement, but it's also a safe statement for him because he understands that his allegiance more so lies with the police department than the people.
And he also understands that the people ain't gonna make him pay for saying it.
Right, right. Because I was about to comment, I was like, this is gonna be a long ass. I was about to comment on it, but I was like, fuck it, I'm finna jump on this podcast. But
Yeah.
but I mean, it's something that needs to be called out on. But it's going back to how we went down this rabbit hole. But the people don't have respect for law enforcement. They just don't, and law enforcement has to really go back and check and look at the bullshit that they've done. Law enforcement are the reason the exact reason why people don't respect them because of them. They've done it. They have whole channels on YouTube and Facebook and all these things of just constant police harassment. Now you can sit there and watch hours and hours and hours just footage of police harassment. Just be black in America. Be black and be a man in America. That's just harassment. And so, but even in this case though, like this dude on some child pornography shit, his ass, he need to be have his ass whooped now, but I guess he was like, all right, the FBI coming at me because I got the child pornography shit. I ain't going down. And he end up killing some FBI agents. Like, oh shit, I killed FBI agents. Not only do I got the child pornography shit, but I killed FBI agents. I'm white. Let me kill myself.
But you know what else though? I think about it, right? Like you think about how wild this is, right? We're talking about a guy who was involved in child pornography or whatever the case might be. And instead of talking about what he did, we spent the next 20 minutes talking about the disrespect people have for law enforcement. Like I think that says something that we just talked about cops and politicians and shit for that long and totally like just now getting back. Yeah, just now getting back into the child pornography shit. Like that's wild. He needed his ass whooped. Definitely. But at the same time, like we say that all the time about this child pornography shit. Like we're always talking about, he need his ass whooped. Like he needed
that shit weird, man. But our society is breeding more and more people like this stuff. Like on both ends, more and more distrust for law enforcement is breeding, and more sexual deviance is being bred.
Absolutely.
So these clashes going to happen more. Absolutely. It's going to happen. Things like this are going to happen more because there's a lot of people who into stuff. Think about it. We started off talking about like T.I. and Tiny with their sexual allegations. And then we ended talking about this, not knowing the story was going to go this way. So we just found it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of America as a whole needs therapy. Like as a country, we need a national therapist.
America need a big vaginal sting.
It need that too. We need, not only do we need therapy, we probably could use another sexual revolution of some kind because there's a lot of repressed motherfuckers out here.
People need to
Um,
have sex. Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff going on right now that's just like not healthy and not right. And this, look, the pedophilia ain't going nowhere. Sadly, as you know, as sad as that is to say, it's the facts. Like, you know, we gotta figure out why these people are the way they are.
Yeah, we got to get to
what
the
we
why.
can do about it.
We got to get to the why and how we can make things safer for others, be able to prevent bad things from happening to innocent, vulnerable people.
Right, because if you look at, and I don't care what people say about sexual preference, and I've seen a lot of people trying to tie in the pedophilia movement to a lot of the gender issues and the sexual. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. If you look at a 6-year-old and get sexually turned on,
you need your ass whooped.
There's something wrong with you. Like there is something wrong with you.
Okay. Now that goes to that video I shared with you all. I didn't want to comment on it because I had no real comment, but I was just kind of curious what people think. The video I shared of the father who beat up the teenage dude because the dude was like, because allegedly the dude asked the guy's 9-year-old to twerk. And it kind of, when you said it, kind of made me think about that. You know,
I would need more context. Like if it went down with the exact same way that like they're saying it went down, where he actually told a 9-year-old girl to twerk, especially if he, like in the video when the dude was beating the boy up, the boy was naked.
Yeah.
So
he tried to humiliate her.
Yeah, and so the boy was saying that he wasn't talking to her, he was talking to his girl, whatever the case might be. We don't, like, it's just a lot we don't know. But if it did go down to where he was like naked looking at a 10 or 11-year-old girl and he's 17, 18 telling her to twerk.
Well, see,
what?
I see. I didn't even think about him being naked asking the girl. I was thinking like he asked the girl, and the father tried to humiliate him and made him strip while he beat him.
Yeah, and that's why I say context. Like we don't know, because if the dad made him strip, then now the dad look like the dad look even crazier.
Well, the dad, either way, the dad ass going to jail because the dumbass recorded it.
Yeah, the dad looks crazy regardless, and I know a lot of people are like, "Yeah, show you." No, like I would have been cool with, you know, if you want to beat the dude ass, whatever, beat his ass. Now I'm not cool with A-Town stomping nobody. Like, and there were a couple times where he kicked the dude in the head and stomped him while he was on the ground. Look, that's not cool. Not even in a one-on-one with somebody that's your peer. It's not cool to stomp somebody's head into the ground. That's not cool. But on the second tip, having the dude bend over and twerk butt naked.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah. First,
and then calling his daughter in to watch it.
There's a lot of questionable stuff in that video.
That's
First of all,
cool, bro.
I just never understood it. I don't understand the logic. I get it, but I don't get it of having another grown man take his clothes off in front of me so I can physically harm him. Like, I don't need you to get naked, beat your ass. And then so him being naked, them filming it, and then that part where they brought the daughter in to see what was going on. That's just a lot of that is just questionable. And he's for his stupidity, he's going to pay the price because that's a minor. No matter how mad you was, that's a minor, and your dumb asses, all y'all, you did what you did and you put it on camera. So.
No, that shit ain't questionable. That shit is wrong. Like, that shit is like, if you just
like all of the father's behavior. Yeah, I'm saying it's wrong, but all of the father's behavior just overall is not questionable.
Yeah, like if you like I said, if you want to just beat the dude ass, cool. I literally have, if a 17-year-old boy tell your 9-year-old, 10, 11-year-old, whatever age daughter to twerk, and you feel the need to go and have words with buddy, I got no problem with that. If it get to the point where you get physical with Buddy, I got no problem with that. Long as the physicality is controlled, because you're still a grown ass man. You should
Right.
be in
Right.
control of the situation. Um, when it gets to the point where you've lost control, because the dad looked like he had lost control of himself, it's not cool no more. And making the dude, if you made him strip, that's not cool. If he was already naked, it's still not cool. Making him bend over and twerk butt naked, not cool. And making your daughter come in and watch. Not like you just traumatized your daughter even more. Like you've damaged your daughter for any other potential suitors that she might have. Like she needs therapy now
Well,
because you were stupid.
you just compromise or even maybe ruin the communication lane between you and your daughter. Because
Like,
one thing we've definitely found out that when you, because even you could, if you the dad that be like, anything happened to my child, I kill him. I'm not saying don't be that dad, but you got to be careful how you vocalize that to your children and how you express that to them. Because I know a lot of children, they be like, well, if I if this person did this to me, but if I tell my dad is going to kill this person, and I don't want my dad to go to jail because I want my dad to be around, so I'm just not going to say anything. So you got to be careful with all of that. You still have to be able to, some of that stuff you can't just reveal all to your kids because you want to keep that open lane of communication. Who, if something tragic or traumatic happens to your child, they won't have an excuse or some other reason to not tell you what's going on.
yeah, yeah. You definitely can't do too much, and you definitely can't overshoot the mark. And she might be at this point concerned about telling her dad anything that happens to her, especially if it's a dude that she cares about. You know, like I can't tell my dad this because he would lose his cool. He would do this to you. He would do that to you. You know, I can't tell my dad this or like you the communication lines, like you said, have got to be protected. But then beyond that, you've got to be teaching your children how to handle themselves in this situation. Like, what
Right.
did she learn about that situation? What did she learn from that? You know what I'm saying? Like what is she getting out of that? And then now think about, and this is where the community aspect gets into it. You also got to think about what that boy is going to do with that experience moving forward. How is that
Yeah.
going to impact the rest of the community? Sure, he might not say shit to your daughter, but it's a whole bunch of other daughters out there that might have to pay behind your foolishness.
And hell,
That's for
you
the
might have to
community.
pay you or
Yeah.
your family might be retribution on your family from that.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. If this man, who's now all over the internet,
And it's not going nowhere.
right, loses his cool and shoots up that house,
Because he's
what
humiliated.
right,
This dude is humiliated around the world.
right, he sees y'all crossing the street one day and he runs y'all over. He finds your dad, he finds you as the dad out somewhere, and now him and his friends got you backed up against the wall.
Right.
And they, they're just so, like, that clip was just so irresponsible on every level. Like, to me, I know a lot of people look at that clip and gonna be like, he did what a dad is supposed. No, he failed.
He
He
look, he he did what most of us are
told to
was
do.
verbalized to do. Like
Yeah,
this is what you do as a father. And we understand we want fathers to be protecting their daughters in their households. But
absolutely.
there's a way to do things and a way not to do things. And let's because it would come off way worse. I mean, it'll come off a less worse if it wasn't filmed.
Yeah, well, that's where I think the ultimate failure comes in. That is that he was filming it, and in this day and age, like, I really do regret the advent of the camera phone and all of this technology we have, because a lot of people don't mentally they aren't mature enough to handle the technology we have. And that was another example of that. You should not have been filming this, even from a standpoint of protecting yourself from legal ramifications.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been filmed. It shouldn't have been filmed at all. Like I said, there's a way to do things. There's a smart way to do things because, like I say, you could have just cut off lines of communications between you and your daughters, and you could have potentially set your family up to be harmed by this action of let me protect my house and it's like we want you to protect your house. Everybody's saying protect your house because I mean I never and not at one point in my mind was never like damn he shouldn't have done that. I was like I kick the little nigga ass too. I kick his ass too.
Yeah, I'm being honest. I was right. I was right there with it initially, but like I always have to stop, slow down, and process. And before I did anything, I would have thought through everything that was happening. And again, we don't know even what built up to it. He might have tried to talk to the dude, and the dude might have been like, "Fuck you, old man." Like it could have escalated that way, where he was trying to be a mature adult about the situation.
We don't know.
The young dude wasn't responding, so we had to, all right, well, let me get on your level with you so that you understand that this can't happen. Because for me, what I would have tried to do is I would have had a sit down with Buddy. Hey, man, come holler at me. Come sit down. And we would have talked it out like men. I'd have let him know, blah, blah, blah. I'd have let him know what I expect. If I needed to call my daughter in, I would call my daughter in so he can apologize. So that, if they need to talk, I can supervise that conversation,
Right. Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He would never be allowed in my house or around my kids.
Oh, no, never.
And my daughter and the daughter who dated him, y'all got to break up. Y'all got
absolutely. And then that's the other issue, because if he was dating her older sister per se, all right, big sis, what were you doing when all of this was going on?
Right.
So that's why I say it's a whole lot in terms of context that we just don't know about that video. But just from the video itself, to me, it looks like while the dad did do what we were all told to do, he was wrong. He went too far. He went too far.
Yeah, he did. He did. It was the latest installment of a parent going too far, filming that shit and putting it out.
Yeah, well, and even to making a buck naked ass boy bend over and twerk. That's I know the shit sound funny, but when you actually look at it,
it's not funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny to look at.
Going to bring back that word creepy again. That's what that is.
That's how I was like, yo, this is like I'm really looking at you like, yo, you're like, and you're looking at him twerk.
We need to talk about my brother.
Right, like, come on, bro. Like, and even like if I'm fucking you up, making you twerk butt naked is not even in my brain. Like, that's not even something that's gonna, like, I should make this dude twerk. Huh? What? Like, first off, if you naked, I'm not even really trying to box with you like that.
We not tussling naked.
Like, I'm gonna tell, bro, put some clothes on. Get dressed. I'll wait.
It's just not gonna happen. We ain't finna be doing no naked tussling around. All right? That ain't happening. You can forget all that.
I don't know, man. That whole thing was weird to me, and I don't know. But that's just my opinion. People feel how they feel. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't have handled it that way. But honestly, I don't even know that. Like, I like it to me. I don't know. I'd have talked to Buddy, and that I feel like that would have been it.
Yeah, and you got to go.
Yeah. Well,
y'all broke up. Yeah, y'all broke up. But
you can't hang around. Yeah. But I'd have talked to Buddy and been like, all right.
Yeah, HSC went too far. But once again, the FBI store.
Yeah.
We mentioned it. Damn it, we mentioned it. Go read it. I read enough of it. I read half the article for you. Go. We mentioned it. But it just opened up other conversations.
Yeah, it's just not a lot in the story right now. Like,
right. We gave you the good information. But
You know what I'm saying?
we also gave you some good side commentary so you can digest. So there it is. Hey man, any shot side, any closing remarks, things you want to shout out, anything you want to promote before we close this thing up?
Not this show.
Okay. Hey man, y'all support the Fix Sports Podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/the Fix. This is Black History Month. Make sure you all support my company on the Shoulders of Giants. I got my sweatshirt on. Y'all make sure y'all www.ontheshoulders1.com for all your African history information, our stories from our perspective at your fingertips. I got books, I got online courses, I got an app, I got videos, I got blog posts. Go check me out, man. My junk should be jumping. It's Black History Month. My website, my YouTube channel, all these things should be jumping. Oh yeah, and I got Runoko Rashidi coming on my YouTube channel real soon. So y'all stay tuned. Really going down. Yeah, I hollered at him today. We worked over some details. So I got Dr. Runoko Rashidi coming on to the On Shoulders Giants YouTube channel. So that's coming up. So I keep y'all abreast on that. With that being said, though, y'all make sure y'all support the Fix on Patreon, and make sure y'all support Lessons from the Screen on Patreon. Visit our website, www.freedomtrainradio.com. And support me on OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/Pastor Simmons. So, with that being said, I am Joseph Ward. He's Patrick Irvin. Peace to the Middle East.